Okay, so in the first part of this lesson, we talked about the three ways that you can write a ratio, and that's with the word to, with a colon, and as a fraction. Okay, so that's just review. All right, so I want to just practice this one time, just real quick to kind of get your refresh your memory. I want you to go ahead and in three ways, I want you to write the ratios and make sure that it's in simplest form. So that's the first thing. Write the ratio in simplest form and then in three ways, three total ways. All right, so hits to misses and then hits to the number of shots. All right, hits to misses is going to be 35 to 15, but that's not in simplest form. 7 over 3 is simplest form. 7 to 3 and 7:3. Okay, so that's three ways. And then number of hits to shots, that's going to be 35 over 50, which is 7 to 10, 7 to 10, and 7 to 10. All right, so that's how you would write a ratio in three different ways. That's the first section on your homework, and you could see that on a quiz or a test as well. All right, now the second example that we talked about the other day, all right, was this comparing and ordering ratios. All right, now you'll see it in a little bit of a different format, so I just want to go ahead and just switch this up. Let me just come over here to my paper. Okay, I want to give you just a couple of, let's do 22 over 6. Let's do 60, 72 to 12. We'll do 9 to 2. 100 to 21. And 5 to 1. Okay, and I want you to order these from least to greatest. All right, does anybody remember what I said on Friday is the first thing that you need to do? You've got to change them all to decimals. Okay, so change them all to decimals first, divide the first number by the second number, and then write it in order, least to greatest, in its original form. All right, so we have, this is going to be 3.6 repeating. 72 to 12 should have been 6. 9 to 2 should have been 4.5. 100 to 21 was 4.76. And 5 to 1 is just 5. Okay, so now that I have them and I can compare, what's the smallest?
3.6.
Yeah, 3.6 repeating, so 22 over 6. Followed by, what's the next smallest? 9 to 2. Remember to write it in the original. And then 100 over 21. And then 4.5 to 1. And then 72 to 12. Anybody get that right?
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Okay, so that's how you would do it. You would write it back in an original format. Change them all to decimals and then write them back in the original format. All right, now let's get into part of the lesson that we didn't get to in the first part, and that is rates, okay? You're going to be asked to find the unit rate on your test tomorrow, and this is what it means. You look for, the problem will give you just some different numbers, but it'll always ask you at the end, what is the cost per, and then whatever it's asking for, that value goes in the denominator. Okay, so if it's per person, it's going to be $66 over 12 people. Okay, again, because it's asking me how much per person, that's why people goes in the denominator. Then whatever number is in my denominator, that's what I'm dividing by. Okay, so I'm basically just dividing 66 divided by 12. But realize that you're looking for cost. So a fraction is not going to be an acceptable answer. We need dollars. 66 divided by 12 gives me how much money per person?
Let's see.
$5.50 per person.
Do you have to do fraction?
You don't have to write it as a fraction. You could write it PER person. That would be fine too.
Yeah, that's what I did on my homework.
Yeah, that would be fine too. All right, any questions on unit rate? Can y'all do one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to try one. Go ahead and try this one. All right, so 50 people, that goes in my numerator or denominator? Denominator, $375 over 50 people. Okay, so now I divide 375 divided by 50.
$7.50.
Okay, very good. $7.50 per person. Per person. Okay, so that's it. All right, now, in example 4, we're writing an equivalent rate. Okay, we're writing an equivalent rate. So here's what it asks. A jet flies 540 miles in 1 hour. So how many miles does it fly in 1 minute? Okay, so you're converting hours to minutes, right? So you need to know how many minutes are in an hour. How many? 60. So here's what you're going to do. 540 miles. 540 miles over 1 hour equals, and here's how I get this second ratio, 1 hour over 60 minutes, okay, because when I compare them, when I cross compare them, I need to be comparing the same units, okay, so 1 hour, those need to cancel, all right. Now I can cross cancel my 60 and my 540 to get 9, and that's going to be 9 miles in 1 minute. In 1 minute. Okay, essentially what I'm doing is I'm dividing. All right, so the second ratio here, this is the challenging part. Okay, that second ratio, I come up with that because I know what I'm converting to. If I'm going hours to minutes, I need a ratio that compares hours to minutes. Okay, if I'm going minutes to hours, then my ratio is going to be flipped. That's why at the beginning of this lesson, order was so important. Does that make sense? Whatever comes first. If I'm going hours to minutes, then I'll write my ratio hours over minutes. We're going to do another one. Okay? Now a car is driving 70 miles an hour. Write its rate in miles per minute. Go ahead and at least write the initial ratio. Okay, so 70 miles in 1 hour equals, and I don't know how many miles in 1 minute. Not sure how many miles in 1 minute. Okay, so 70 miles in 1 hour times what? I'm going hours to minutes, so how am I going to write this next ratio? Hours over minutes. So equals 1 hour over how many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes. Okay, so here I can't really cross-reduce anything. This one's not going to work out nearly as nicely as the other one. 70 miles, I have to divide 70 divided by 60. It's not going to come out evenly, and that's okay. 70 divided by 60, we'll just round to the nearest hundred, equals about 1.17 miles per minute. Okay? All right, are you kind of catching on a little bit? All right, now this is more what it's going to look like on your homework. Okay, actually let me, I'll just do this. All right, this is what it's going to look like on your homework tonight. I want you to do these 3, and this is what it's going to look like on your quiz tomorrow. All right, let's say we have 5 centimeters in 1 minute, and I want to convert it to how many centimeters in 1 hour. Number 2, I've got 5 meters in 1 second. So how many meters in 1 hour? On the third one, let me give myself some more room. On the third one, I've got 3 pounds for every $1. So how many ounces is that for every $1? All right, so go ahead and solve these 3. All right, so I went ahead and just wrote the second step for you because I want you to see something. Okay, I'm going from my first ratio to my second, I'm going minutes to hours. Do you agree? That's why in this second ratio, I have minutes over hours. On number 2, I'm going seconds to hours. That's why in my second ratio, I have seconds over hours. How many seconds are in an hour? Do you see the connection? Okay, on the third one, I'm going pounds to ounces, right? Right? Pounds to ounces. Now, what you want to make sure is that your ounces and your pounds can cancel out. That's why on all the first 2, you see I can cancel my minutes. Okay? Minutes cancel, and now I can just multiply. My seconds cancel out, my seconds cancel out. And now on the third one, my ounces cancel and my ounces cancel. And now I'm just left with 48 ounces, right? 48 ounces in $1. 48 ounces per dollar, per $1. Now here I have, goodness, that's a huge number, 18,000 seconds. You don't even have to label it. You can just say 18,000. Okay, your book doesn't have these labeled. All right, so 48. And then the first one you already said was 300. All right, did anybody get all of this right? Anybody get them all right? Good job. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. That's pretty much everything you need to know for this section. Just we're writing ratios, finding unit rate, and finding equivalent rates.